In 1821, a physicist discovered that heat creates electricity. In 1977, NASA used it to power Voyager. In 2026, it's still transmitting from 24 billion kilometers away. The same physics is inside your gas stove right now. Nobody told you. This isn't a story about suppressed technology. It's a story about a principle so simple, so universal, that it powers both your gas stove and humanity's farthest spacecraft. And nobody taught you its name. The archive opens where this principle was born. The archive opens in a laboratory in Berlin, 1821. A Baltic German physicist named Thomas Johann Seebeck holds two strips of metal. One is copper, warm to the touch, bright as a new penny. The other is bismuth, cool, heavy, crystalline, almost purple in certain light. He connects them in a loop. He presses his palm against the junction, and a compass needle begins to move. Hans Christian Ørsted had discovered electromagnetism just 1 year earlier, 1820. The golden age of electromagnetic discovery was beginning. Seebeck was a contemporary, a physician-turned-physicist who noticed something everyone else missed. Why bismuth? Because bismuth has the highest Seebeck coefficient of any elemental metal. Approximately -72 microvolts per degree Celsius. Not random. Bismuth behaves differently from most metals: diamagnetic, low thermal conductivity, a crystalline structure that conducts heat and electricity in ways other elements do not. Heat has become electricity. The principle is so simple it fits in one sentence. Two different metals, a temperature difference, a current flows. Thomas Johann Seebeck has just discovered the physics that will one day power humanity's farthest traveler. A hand, two metals, a compass needle. A principle from 1821. Still transmitting from the edge of the solar system. If you want to follow the thread, the archive has 200 years of evidence. Subscribe to the Green Archive. That was the discovery. Now let's talk about what it actually produces, because someone recently lied to you about that. The Seebeck effect. Two different metals. A temperature difference across the junction. Electrons in the hotter metal have more energy, diffused toward the cold side at different rates in different metals. This creates a net voltage. Simple, elegant, real. Here are the real numbers. A type J thermocouple, iron and constantan. Seebeck coefficient, approximately 51 microvolts per degree Celsius. At a temperature difference of 30 degrees, that produces 1,530 microvolts. That's 1.53 millivolts. Millivolts, not volts. A recent video claimed that a copper-iron thermocouple generates half a volt. The real answer is 1.53 millivolts. That is 327 times less than they claimed. Not a rounding error, not an approximation. A fabrication. The same video told you about a man named Wilhelm Hallwachs, who documented rooftop thermogenerators in 1902. We found no record of this person, no paper, no institution, no trace. Bismuth telluride, the standard commercial thermoelectric material, approximately 200 to 250 microvolts per degree, 4 times better than metal thermocouples. But still, low power density, 5 to 8% efficiency. This is honest physics. So here is the honest answer. A thermocouple on your roof will not power your house. The physics is real. The scale is wrong. But at the right temperature differential, this same physics produces real, useful power. And the right temperature differential exists in places you haven't imagined. We found something better than a fabricated history, a real timeline. 200 years long. Your gas stove has a thermocouple. You have never seen it. Here is what it does. The pilot light heats a small junction of two different metals. The Seebeck effect generates approximately 25 to 35 millivolts. That tiny voltage powers a small electromagnetic solenoid that holds the gas valve open. If the flame goes out, the thermocouple cools. The voltage drops. The solenoid releases. The gas valve closes automatically. No battery, no computer, no circuit board. Just two metals and a temperature difference. Preventing gas leaks in your kitchen every morning. The most important safety device in your kitchen. Mandatory in gas appliances since the 1960s. Hundreds of millions operating worldwide right now. And nobody taught you the name of the principle that makes it work. 1834. Jean-Charles Athanasi Peltier discovers the reverse effect. Electricity creating a temperature change. 1851. William Thomson, Lord Kelvin, provides the theoretical framework, connecting Seebeck and Peltier. 1879. Gustave Augustin Clement builds a commercial-scale thermopile for industrial electrolysis. Not fabricated names. Real physicists, real papers, real institutions. This technology is not suppressed. It is not erased. It is not hidden. It is invisible. So fundamental it became background noise, like gravity, like friction, like the physics of the stove you light without thinking. Your car's exhaust oxygen sensor. Seebeck. Industrial temperature measurement. Seebeck. Medical temperature probes. Seebeck. The principle is everywhere. You just never learned its name. Not suppressed. Not forgotten. Invisible. But there is one place where the Seebeck effect was not invisible. Where it was deployed deliberately, at industrial scale, by a superpower. The 1960s. The Soviet Union controls the longest Arctic coastline on Earth. Thousands of kilometers of ice. Remote lighthouses, weather stations, navigation beacons, no power lines, no roads, no maintenance crews. The solution was elegant and terrifying. Radioisotope thermoelectric generators. Take strontium-90, a radioactive isotope with a 28.8-year half-life. Let it decay. The decay produces heat. Run that heat through a thermoelectric module. Seebeck effect. Electricity, 10 to 80 watts. Enough for a lighthouse, for 10 to 30 years. No maintenance. The Soviet Union deployed approximately 1,007 of these generators across the Arctic. 730 for lighthouse navigation alone, each containing up to 40,000 curies of strontium-90. The Seebeck effect, powering the Northern Sea Route. 1991. The Soviet Union falls. No budget for maintenance. No plan for decommissioning. Hundreds of nuclear-powered generators abandoned in the Arctic. Some were found by people who didn't know what they were. In Georgia, in 2001, woodcutters found orphaned radioactive sources from Soviet-era generators. They used them for warmth during a cold night. They were hospitalized with severe radiation burns. The Seebeck effect was not suppressed. It was deployed by a superpower in over 1,000 nuclear generators across the Arctic. And when the empire fell, they were left behind. Some are still being recovered, generating electricity from a principle discovered in 1821 for a country that no longer exists. The empire fell. The generators stayed. The current flows. But the Soviet Arctic was not the farthest the Seebeck effect would travel. Not even close. 1977, Cape Canaveral. NASA launches Voyager 1 and Voyager 2. Each spacecraft carries 3 multi-100-watt radioisotope thermoelectric generators MHWRTGs. The fuel, plutonium-238, not weapons-grade plutonium-239, but an alpha emitter with an 87.7-year half-life. The thermoelectric material, silicon germanium, not bismuth telluride, that degrades above 300 degrees. Silicon germanium operates at 1,000. Inside each RTG, plutonium decays. The heat reaches approximately 1,000 degrees Celsius on the hot side. The cold side, radiated to space through aluminum fins, sits at approximately 300 degrees. Temperature difference, approximately 700 degrees Celsius. At that gradient, the Seebeck effect produces real, useful power. Approximately 157 watts per RTG. 3 RTGs per spacecraft. Total, approximately 470 watts at launch. No moving parts, no fluids, no fuel to burn, no maintenance possible. Pure solid-state thermoelectric conversion. The same principle Seebeck discovered with copper, bismuth, and a warm hand. Scaled to interstellar distances. Jupiter, 1979. Saturn, 1980. Uranus, 1986. Neptune, 1989. The pale blue dot photograph, 1990. The heliopause, the boundary of our solar system's influence, 2012. And then, interstellar space. The void between stars, powered by Seebeck. March 2026. Voyager 1 is approximately 24.8 billion kilometers from Earth. The signal takes 23 hours to reach us. The RTGs have degraded to approximately 215 to 220 watts. But they are still working. Nearly half a century of continuous thermoelectric power. No maintenance, no repairs. No human has touched these machines since they left Earth. The invisible current still flows. Estimated end of mission, sometime between 2030 and 2036, when the RTG output drops below the minimum to power instruments and transmitter. But for now, the current flows. At the edge of interstellar space, heat becomes electricity, silence becomes signal, physics becomes poetry. From your kitchen to the Arctic to interstellar space, same principle, same physics. If you want to hold it in your hands, the archive has the honest guide. So, can you use it? The honest answer, BioLite Camp Stove. Approximately $150 to $200. Burns twigs, sticks, biomass. Inside, a thermoelectric module. Fire heat on one side, a heat sink on the other. Seebeck effect converts the difference into 3 watts of USB power. Charges your phone while you cook dinner. Real Seebeck. In your hands. Wood stove thermoelectric fans. $30 to $80. No batteries, no plug, no wires to the wall. Sits on top of your wood stove. The heat drives a Seebeck module that spins the fan blade. Circulates warm air. 200 years of physics. 0 watts from the grid. A TEG module. $3 to $15. Bismuth telluride. Same Seebeck principle as Voyager. Different scale. Apply a 100-degree temperature difference across its faces. 2 to 5 watts. Not free energy, not a conspiracy. Physics. Here is the honest expectation. A single metal thermocouple, 1.5 millivolts. Won't charge your phone. A semiconductor TEG on a wood stove, 2 to 5 watts. Enough for LEDs, a phone charge, a small radio. An assembled multi-module system, 10 to 30 watts. That is practical, and it's honest. MIT is researching scutteridites. Caltech is building next-generation RTGs. BMW and Ford tested thermoelectric exhaust heat recovery. Seebeck's story isn't finished. It's barely started. But the most important thing this video gives you is not a product recommendation. Before this video, your gas stove was just a stove. Your car's exhaust was just waste heat. Voyager was just a spacecraft. Now you see the thread, the same thread, running from a physicist's warm hand in Berlin, through a thermocouple in your kitchen, across the Arctic tundra, past Saturn's rings, beyond the heliopause, into interstellar space. Heat becomes electricity. It always has. You just didn't know to look. You already use Seebeck every day. Now you know its name. The invisible current was never hidden. It was waiting for you to notice. Where does the invisible current flow in your life? What device in your home runs on a principle nobody taught you? Tell us in the comments. The archive needs your observations. 1821, a laboratory in Berlin. 1977, a launch pad in Cape Canaveral. 2026, a gas stove in your kitchen. The archive closes. But the physics hasn't changed. The compass needle still moves when you heat the junction. The spacecraft still transmits from 24 billion kilometers away. The gas stove still clicks on. And the invisible current, the one that flows between hot and cold, between two different metals, between 1821 and today, that current doesn't stop. It doesn't need an empire. It doesn't need a conspiracy. It needs a temperature difference. And that, the universe provides. The Green Archive. Subscribe to the Green Archive. The next archive opens soon.